It's so hard to keep track of all the Nintendo eShop games that are going on sale, and even after their discount, are they even worth the price? Today, I'll be answering that question for Hogwarts Legacy, which is now on sale for the lowest price it's ever been at $17.99. Is that enough to make this game worth your money? Without further ado, let's answer that question. This review will be split into 3 categories. I'll list the pros and cons in each, and then I'll give a rating out of 10. At the end, we will tally up the scores and determine if the game is worth the price. These categories are gameplay, world, and content. I'll explain as I go, so let's start with something easy to understand. Gameplay. Hogwarts Legacy is an action RPG where you will create a student attending the magical wizarding school Hogwarts. So one would expect magic to be at the core of most of the gameplay. They really nailed it with this one. New spells are fun to learn, and you will use them again and again to collect items and solve puzzles as you explore Hogwarts. I felt it very satisfying to snag pages flying about the vast chambers of the school, reveal hidden information and lore about the surroundings, and guiding ethereal moths back to their frames. You will also be presented with choices as you speak to the colorful cast of characters, though I could not tell if my decisions made an impact in the course of the story. It's fun that you can choose to have a bit of an attitude, though. Finally, I want to touch on the combat, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Though it took some getting used to, my favorite missions ended up being those that included the combat. Whether it was slinging spells at the students in the dueling club or dodging the swings of an orc's mighty axe, combat was both challenging and highly satisfying. As I played, they introduced nuances that hinted at the depth of the combat system. Colored shields tell you which spells are effective, and you're able to combo spells together to keep your opponent immobilized in the air longer. Overall, when I was using magic, I was having fun. But first, you'll have to get to these points, and here's where problems start to come about. The cons for the gameplay have to come from the limitations graphically on the Switch. Mostly this presents itself as you're moving from point A to point B in the game. As you can imagine, you do a lot of running in this game, and in other ports of this, you normally don't have an issue. However, because this is on the Switch, the loading times do interrupt the gameplay's flow of fun. Doors should open immediately, but I found myself face planting multiple times and needed to wait for them to open. Just say it's a mischievous ghost blocking your path. Early in the game, though, they do introduce flue flames, which allow you to fast travel to different parts of the map. This is extremely helpful and saves a lot of time, however, it might not feel like it because each loading screen takes around 30 seconds. All in all, I really enjoyed the gameplay, but I have to dock a point for the loading times and how long you spend running from A to B. Gameplay gets an 8 out of 10. Our next category is World. I'm grouping together everything that makes up the game World. The art, the music, the voice cast, the writing, everything that helps build the world that the player experiences. When it comes to the world in Hogwarts Legacy, it has a lot of good things going for it. Obviously, with an IP like Harry Potter, Portkey Games and Avalanche Studios were able to cook here. They created an original story to play out the fantasy of attending Hogwarts as a fifth-year student. The main villain of this story is a goblin, which I found very unique. There's a mysterious, story-driven reason why you are so adept at magic as a novice. I will refrain from too many spoilers, but I will say they've created a story that makes it feel like you're playing through one of the books. For reasons that will become obvious, I want to focus on the sound more than the visuals. Sweeping orchestral scores and swelling musical moments help move you emotionally during certain points of the story. Specifically, I want to point out the opening shot for Hogwarts. get your first wand.
Extraordinary. Another wand, another beginning of a bright and magical future.
The music and sound help to build on that feeling of being in this magical world. I would also like to shout out the voice actors, as they really breathe life into the wide variety of characters that you encounter. From meeting other students to the shop owners of Hogsmeade, you shouldn't skip the dialogue, even though I did. Which brings me to the flavor of this game. As you would expect from a game set in the wizarding world, they injected so much flavor into this thing, it's like a turkey on Thanksgiving. From moving paintings and murals, to mischievous ghosts, to the enchanted sharpening tables, you will see the prompt to interact everywhere, and it really makes you feel like you're part of this world. Now, while there are a few visually impressive moments that I experienced, many of which are great by the Switch's standards, there were more instances that were not as impressive. You've got low frame rate walk cycles, students that will pop in out of existence, same with crows, and a texture that'll just decide to load after a few seconds. It's safe to say that this port of the game is not its most impressive compared to the other systems, but on the flip side though, there are moments where these limitations cause some hilarious moments. So take that as you will. The visual limitations of this port of Hogwarts Legacy is the biggest reason why I hesitated buying this game on the Switch. However, I do feel that the sound makes up for it, and once you're used to it, it's not too distracting and can even lead to some funny moments. I give World a 7 out of 10. Finally, let's talk about content. For the content category and for the evaluation of a game, I want to talk about how much content there is, how accessible it is, and the quality of content, so how many hours I'm willing to spend to consume it. Now, there is a lot of content in this game, and I mean a lot. In my 3-hour playthrough, I made it through 6% of the challenges, 13% of the quests, 17% of the field guide pages, and I didn't even unlock most of the categories of collectibles. It's safe to say that I barely scratched the surface in the amount of content in this game. But is it accessible? How difficult is it to find the content in this game? Not at all, almost to a fault. At the beginning of this game, you are given a field guide that acts as your tracker for your quests, your gear, your collectibles, pretty much everything that you encounter in Hogwarts Legacy. The game also gives you a handy-dandy charmed compass in the form of a golden paper butterfly, which you will use a lot. Hogwarts is a confusing place, but with the minimap and your compass, you can usually find your way. Sometimes they make it a bit too easy, however, when you're following a treasure map or trying to find hidden items, so it's safe to say I foresee no issues finding all of the content. I want to bring up the quality because I am unsure based on my time playing the game. Many of the side quests that you receive from your classmates are what are referred to as fetch quests. Basically, the task is go here, get thing, which is usually hidden or hard to get, and then come back. There are multiple examples and iterations from collecting flying book pages to gobstones, whatever those things are. From what I can tell, they're stink balls, I guess. Anyway, so though I am worried that you can expect more quests to be similar, it's also true that these quests are early in the game and they will most likely ramp up in difficulty and complexity as the game progresses. I think that I am willing to put in the hours to find out. I'm curious about the other classes and professors and the hijinks that I can get up to with the other students at Hogwarts. I genuinely want to know how the story unfolds and how the different spells you learn will affect the gameplay. I give content an 8 out of 10. And there we have it. Altogether, Hogwarts Legacy scored a 23 out of 30, averaging a 7.6 out of 10. I would value this port as a $25 to $30 game due to its graphical limitations and its effect on navigation and load times. However, this game is still fun to play, has a quality story, sound score, and a ton of content for you to explore. I would definitely say that it's worth its current price at $17.99, so make sure to get it before the sale ends on September 16th. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment with your rating. See you in the next review. Bye-bye.